Hi, I'm Thomas Bowles, Prince William County Agricultural Extension Agent. Welcome to our video.
Hello, my name is Pat Lucas. I am a volunteer with the Virginia Cooperative Extension Master Gardener Program out of the Prince William County unit. In honor of Compost Week, I was asked to give a quick demo of what I do here at my house and how I take care of our compost here in my composting effort with my worms. So to go over just real quickly the basics of this, we're going to have some links in the video below and some other ways for you to get more information. I'm just going to quickly go over our process here. This is a quick demo to show you that you can actually do this no matter how much room you have. It's a very easy method to actually get into some composting. For us, mainly we're using browns and greens, which is the basic components mixed with air and moisture, and we can do some composting. So for here at our house, one of our favorite nitrogen sources is coffee. We have K-cups, a K-cup machine. We go through boxes and boxes of this, and I like to harvest the coffee out of this, collect that up, and feed it to our worms. So it's really easy to do. I just have this bag. Sometimes I use it over the bin. Just open the top of the K-cup and just dump the coffee in. Basically is a good way to reuse this coffee. 35 K-cups is about a pound of coffee. At least you're able to regain some of that and recycle and reuse that. So any other food scraps, vegetable scraps, bread, these materials are all good stuff to add to a compost bin. The things we want to avoid are fats, meat, dairy products. Those things can tend to spoil. They go anaerobic in the bin, and the worms really can't handle and manage that material. We're going to go downstairs and actually look at the worm bin, and you're going to see a piece of coconut coir. So I wanted to talk about that real fast, not to diverge and go off the subject to talk about microgreens, but microgreens are very good, nutritious for you. I grow these kind of hydroponically on a coconut coir mat. City Hydro is the system that I purchased, and basically after we harvest those microgreens, we're left with the coconut coir mats. So I add those to the compost bin, let the worms eat the pieces and parts off of that. So now we're going to take a look at our cardboard. Our carbon material here at our house, mainly cardboard and a little bit of paper, but for the most part it's cardboard, paper towel rolls, toilet paper tissue rolls, cardboard boxes are all perfect to be used in our worm bin. So I use a shredder. So easily we take the cardboard and we just run it through the shredder. These tubes. Normally I would break the box down in the center. So we just shred up this material. We do take the glue and anything metallic off of it, like this label off of it. The shipping labels, not necessarily as much. The shipping labels don't need to necessarily come off, but if they're the thermal paper, it's always a good idea to kind of just peel that off. I already took the tape that was on the top of that off as well. Once we have our shredded cardboard, we take this and add that to our food scrap waste. So now we have cardboard to work with, we need our food scraps. Here at our house, we're mixing any of the food scraps we mentioned earlier, the bananas, any of the lettuces, spinaches, all leafy stuff, moldy bread, stale bread, that kind of stuff. And worms prefer that material to be as small as possible. So in order to accomplish that, you can use a pair of scissors and cut. Some people just use the whole food, and it just takes a little bit longer for the worms to work that material. If you can get it as small as possible, that really helps them to ingest and process that material a lot faster. So you'll end up with a finished product sooner. So not being able to use the sink to collect that material or bypass the drain line, I kind of took the same idea and I picked up an extra garbage disposal and I mounted that into the bottom of a bucket, have that on a switch, And so I'm able to take the food scraps, process them, collect the ground material, and then I mix that with the cardboard. So this material we'll take downstairs and we'll add this to the worm bin. Primarily it's made up of cardboard, which helps absorb a lot of the extra moisture, so the bin doesn't have too much water in it. We do need some water. It also has eggshells and whatever organic material we ground up that we had available to use. Eggshells, worms are able to process that. There's no worry with that. They're able to ingest and will eat around and off of all of those parts and pieces. This is my worm processing area. We're going to take these food scraps and we're going to bring it into this older material. We're talking about bins for a little bit. This is a very large bin. I've been doing this for a number of years. I've started out with smaller products, smaller bins. You really do not need a large bin to get started. This is called the Worm Factory. It has a stackable bin system. Worms typically work within the first 4 to 6 inch range as they would in the topsoil. When things fall down on the ground, these worms would come in and help process and digest that material. So the stacking bin system allows you to add new material. You can see it's got air holes in it. So as you get new material, the worms are able to migrate through the bin. Eventually the bin gets tall enough, you've got the trays, you start taking the bins out from the bottom, and then you're going to have to sort them in a system similar to this, whether it's in a smaller bin or but we want to try and get the worms out of the old material. We don't want to release them back out into nature. This is another bin that I've used. In fact, the material that's in this bunk feeder right here that I'm going to process eventually came from this 20-gallon trash can that I have the bottom cut out of. It's similar to the tray system. You can see they're both about the same height, so it's the same process. I'm not filling the bin up all at once, it's just gradually being filled as the weeks progress and I'm adding new material. Eventually though, it does need to be emptied out so we can make room, and we can also harvest our castings. So back down here into the bin, these are the coconut coir mats that I was telling you about from upstairs. They just add air spaces and stuff in here. How we would add this new material, whether it's in the bin, these bins, or this bin, we would just make some room on the sides or even down the middle, and we would add that material. We would add our coffee, and the worms would migrate into that new material to feed. Once they're in that new material, that makes less work for us to try and harvest the castings out. So it's easier if you get them to work for you. If you've heard of herding cats, this is far worse than trying to herd cats. Worms move at their own pace, and often they just don't want to move at all, so they'll stay still. So it's easier to just give them the time to slowly move to the side or down the bin as you go through. So you can actually take all of this material and run it through a screen. That allows you to harvest the stuff that hasn't composted fully. You can add that back in. You can take out any trash. More importantly, you're trying to get the worms back into the bin. Eventually what we end up with is this wonderful product right here. This is screened pretty thin, which is what we're looking for. We want to get all the undigested stuff out, but this is the casting we're looking for. It's about a 100 on the NPK scale, but what it's loaded with is other biology. We don't judge just by the NPK number. So this has a lot of beneficial microbes, fungi, other bacterias that will help your plant and your plant roots extract nutrients from the soil. So this is really very, very bioactive material that just does wonderful stuff. It's best if you can make it yourself, because like anything else, this is the freshest material that you can get. If you buy this on a store in a bag that's been sitting on a shelf, the biology isn't going to be there as strong as it would be as if you were making this stuff yourself. This is just a better way to get rid of food scraps, coffee grounds, organic material that can be reused in your yard. Even if you're just fertilizing your lawn, this is still a better way to go. And this was a real quick introduction to the way that we're doing it here at our house. For more information, check out the links below and give it a try.
Check out these resources on composting with worms. If you enjoyed this video, let us know with your questions, comments, and suggestions for other classes and videos. For more information on lawns and gardens, contact the Extension Horticulture Help Desk. Thank you for watching.